For donations, I ask that you donate $1 per video. Thank you. Aki and Augie sat together beneath a waterfall in an opening in the forest with a pool of water beneath it. There were hot springs too, and each of them, tired from travel, decided to sit inside one of them beneath the waterfall, listening calmly to its roaring sound. Aki's rippling muscles flexed and tensed as he took his hood and tunic off after removing his katana from his back, his blonde, almost white hair falling just over his shoulders, and then some. Augie did the same, but his black hair falling over his muscles too, as they were both in very good condition, thanks to years of training, travel, battle, and secrecy. Their horses stood tied to trees nearby, one white, one black. They stripped naked and sat in the hot spring, wetting their hair and attempting to relax, though always guarded and ready for the next strike at any moment. They were samurai and assassin, contributing to a code that almost meant more than all of humanity's existence, protecting their realm and conversing in foreign affairs amongst strong and weak leaders alike, of which either had none but the code in themselves. They were to meet the Emperor of Akai, their realm, soon after the visit to the hot springs. There was something important going on, and no one could discover just what it was, but it was something mystical, Aki and Agi knew. They would have to discover it for themselves, they supposed, and in the hot spring quiet, they were both itching to bring it up, and so Aki and Aki had a great conversation about it before jumping from the hot spring, drying, and putting back on their garments. It was not long, and they were at their horses, jumping onto them to ride them, katanas on their backs and hoods pulled up. Aki's garments were black and Agi's were white. Their boots, which came up to their mid-calf, black. They made their way to the trail that led to the pool, hot springs and waterfall, and under tree rode their horses east towards Akai, to the Emperor Dai. It would be 2 days before they arrived, but their packs were full with food and drink and spare clothing, a bow and arrows with quiver. On their way, they passed many small villages, and one town named Shora. They stopped there to rest, welcomed by the townsfolk who knew who they were, assassin samurai of the order. One old man ushered them into an inn, smiling, offering them a free place to stay for the night. Aki and Agi grabbed hold of their packs, bow and quiver and arrows, and followed the man, leading their horses in a stall not far as two kind men took them for them. The inn was a red, black, and white building, beautifully built, and the inside of it was almost extravagant, which wasn't uncommon in a town as large and interconnected as this one, with many visitors from afar. Upon entrance, Aki noted two Westerners. He still had a disdain for most of them, except for those in the order, but they stayed in their realms, for the most part, or helped their own. These two Westerners were just travelers, and Aki scoffed. But Agi put a hand on his shoulder and calmed him, smiling. Brother, there's no need to stir trouble. Aki sighed. Besides the hot springs, our travels have made me weary, that's all. Agi nodded with a smile. Sit, let's have sake. The old man was pouring them 2 cups of sake, and removing their boots, they slipped on 2 pairs of sandals and sat on their knees to drink. The Westerners took notice of them, but stirred no trouble. Instead, they walked over, each of them over 6 feet tall. At first, Aki was on guard and didn't know what they wanted, so he stood up in surprise, nearly matching their size, as Aki was 6 feet tall, as was Agi, as they were practically the same height. Agi just laughed and told the Westerners to sit down next to them. Aki gave him a look of disapproval, but nonetheless sat down. They were both muscled, but they seemed tempered to Aki, and so he did not mind them much. They spoke their language as well, which made communication far easier than expected. Are you samurai? The brown-haired one asked. His nose was large, the other had black hair and a smaller nose, and remained silent. Or assassin, he laughed. Aki grimaced. Both, Agi said, smiling with a laugh. Agi found foreigners quite amusing, especially the Western ones. They were usually very big and dumb. These two seemed intelligent, though, so he knew he could not fool around too much. He simply let them speak. Can I join? The brown-haired one asked. My name is Eric. I've been looking for a cause. As have I, said the black-haired one. My name is Jonathan. Ha ha ha, Augie said. First you would have to follow us into battle to prove yourselves. We have fought a battle or two, Eric said. Augie frowned and said, Not the battles we have, and took a drink from his cup of sake. Why don't you two run away back to your table? We're weary from travel. Augie shrugged. I don't mind speaking with them. Eric became more serious. We're sorry if we've offended you. That's okay, Augie said, before Aki could say something more severe to him, waving Aki away. Aki silenced himself angrily. Where are you from? Our names are Augie and Aki. I'm Augie. We're from Lorne, on the coast. We've been there, Aki said. Not nice place. He lied, though he had not hated it there. Thank you, Eric said, ignoring his sarcasm. It is our home. Ours is the realm of Akai, Augie said. You have no original homes? Jonathan asked. No, Aki said curtly. No, Augie said dully. Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan said. That must have been hard. We're not here to talk about our past, Aki said. We're here to drink and relax from travel. I apologize, Jonathan said. We just find your type interesting. Samurai assassin. You know? Ha! In all seriousness, we wish to join, Eric said more seriously. Augie nodded. Here, I don't think that is possible. Why do you not ask someone in your own realm? Aki asked. Find someone of the order there. It can't be hard. Oh, but it is, said Eric. I had met one once, but he was in a hurry and had no time for me. Neither do we, said Aki. Augie smiled. Still, it is nice to share drinks with you. No, it isn't, Aki said quietly. Shh, Augie said, hitting him on the arm and scolding him like a child. Another time, maybe. Another time, maybe, Eric said. Around here, you're rare, but we've seen many of you lately. We'll join yet. Aki smiled. I hope you make your way. Augie smiled. I hope you make your way. Speaking of making your way, Jonathan said, Where are you two going? Augie opened his mouth to answer, but suddenly there was a scream, a woman's scream. Aki stood quickly, putting his hand on his katana. Augie stood as well. Come on, Augie said to Augie and Aki said to Augie and the foreigners. Let's see you prove yourselves.